When entering into a British school, you would need to have a good standard of education, depending on the age that you come into the British school. You'd also need to have an English qualification. Some schools will have their own entry exams, otherwise you may need a Cambridge English exam or an IELTS exam. As far as documentations are concerned, you would need to have your qualifications translated by a notary into English and stamped accordingly. You'd also need a passport. You'd need to ensure that you have the correct documentations as far as birth certificates are concerned in some schools and colleges. And you would also need to ensure, as far as documentation is concerned, that you had the right bank account and fees available.
In order to study in the US, it's easier, I think, than some may think. There is the visa that's required, but any reputable institution can provide an F1 visa for you. So if you have any concerns about entrance to the US for the academics, ask them about their F1 visa granting capabilities. And I encourage you to partner with institutions that offer F1 visas to students. It is a different type of visa and it's a student-specific visa. So keep that in mind first and foremost if the visa is a concern for you or your family. For other requirements, you have an interview, and that makes part of your application process. And the interview, if it can't be conducted in person, it can be conducted on Skype or FaceTime or a different social media platform, so that the person that you're working with, myself for example, can connect with you and learn more about your personality and if you might be a good fit for our school. So the interview is a really important component of your ultimate application so that we can learn more about you and see if you're a right fit for our school and help you answer any questions you may have. So along with the visa information, you'll have your interview and your written application, which consists of recommendations from your current faculty and professors at your current school. It can come from a coach or an instructor. It could also come from a person close to you in a different capacity. So maybe it's a dance instructor or an ice hockey coach, if not a classroom teacher. And lastly, you'll have your school reports and transcripts that your current school can share with the schools you're applying to. And all the application components are outlined on every school's website. And if you ever have any questions, you can simply ask the person that you've connected with, for example, myself or others who are representing in your city. So you can ask those questions and get the answers, but it's all online. There may or may not be standardized testing required for different schools, and each school has their own rules for that. So you can answer those questions online and by asking, but it's a very easy process, and we try to make it as comfortable and approachable for our families as we can.
So yeah, the application process might seem a little daunting. I don't think it is, because our goal really is to ensure that we are getting the right fit with each boy. So the collection of obviously an application, so we learn as much as we can about each boy as an individual. We learn about their family and how that might be a good fit with us. Of course, we want to get teacher recommendations in math and English, and we get the transcripts, the grades from this year and the previous year. TOEFL junior score for those boys as well, to ensure that we're going to be able to support their language needs if they come to Fessenden. So it may seem like a daunting process for a 5th, 6th, 7th, or 8th grade applicant, but our goal really is to make sure that it is going to be the right fit, and each boy that comes to Fessenden is going to be highly successful.
To enter an American secondary school, they all have different amounts of selectivity. Most schools would require a TOEFL score, and some also require SSAT scores, and then good transcripts. Some schools require excellent transcripts, and teacher recommendations, and an interview.
If you are coming as an international to an American school, you will need to have a visa. Once you have received your visa and you are accepted to a school like Montverde Academy, you would get an I-20, and that's something that's provided by the school. And this tells the U.S. government that you are there studying abroad and at our school. Once you graduate from our school and you plan on attending a university in the U.S., what we'll do is transfer that I-20, so you don't have to do anything with it, and it will follow you to your next level of education at the university level. Once you graduate from the university, then your I-20 will be complete, and then you may choose at that time whether or not you remain in the U.S. and become a citizen, or go back to your home country with all of the education you've received.
It's not as hard as you would think it is to come to a school in America. I do believe that the application process can be sometimes very long and difficult, but the schools can help walk you through the process. The agencies that you can work with can very much help you through that process. The most important things the schools need are your grades to see what classes you've taken. So we're trying to look at what credits you still need to graduate properly from American schools. And then we are looking at teacher recommendations are very important, and scheduling an interview. That can just be a Skype or a FaceTime interview, very easy. So it does look like a long list of items, but it's not really that hard, and there are common applications. So if you decide to apply to many different schools, you can use a common application and they will all accept that, so you're not having to complete many different applications. As far as getting into the school, I think as long as you're guided in trying to find the right fit, it's very easy to get in a school. I don't want families to think it's difficult to get into a school. I think that most schools, when they start working with a family, if they don't think it's a good fit, then they will kind of discourage them from applying. So if you're working with a school and they are encouraging you to apply, chances are they're going to accept you, and you're going to be able to enroll in that school if you want. So.
Each school has varying acceptance rates. So some schools are more challenging or have a lower acceptance rate than others. We have, as boarding schools, made the process much easier for families by using common applications and accepting standardized tests and financial aid documents. So families are able to apply to a large range of schools very easily by completing forms and applications and taking tests only one time and submitting that information.
United States schools are selective, generally speaking. Perk Yeoman School, we tend to be selective with our students, and so we're building a student body that are going to have really impressive contributions to our campus. We're looking for really engaged students. So you must have the TOEFL score is the biggest requirement for us, and that can range from middle schoolers, where we actually welcome the students because they end up speaking better English than I do, even if they haven't taken the TOEFL before, up to our sophomores and juniors and seniors, where we're looking for a TOEFL score of 70 to 80 or above.